Let's start rolling on in here. Sorry, I'm getting ready. We're going to be rolling on in this morning. Rolling on in. Come on in. Looks like we got some updates coming in on Savanah Soto's case. So we're going to roll with it. Just give me a minute. I'm getting everything kind of together back here behind the scenes. We've got some information. I'm going to go ahead and pull that up on the screen. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I can barely hear myself. Let me make sure my equipment is on. I'm rolling through this. I was getting calls from everybody. It looks like everything's going okay. It sounds like you guys can hear me. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming in. We have some things going on today. It looks like a third person is being arrested or has been arrested. Go ahead and pull this up. So we're hearing a third arrest is going on right now. We're going to try to get, if anybody's got the link to the press conference, I'm going to ask that you guys put that into the chat now. If anybody has the link to the press conference, I am looking for it. It looks like there is a third person being arrested. I'm not watching chat. I need my mods to help me out here because I'm trying to find a lot of stuff. Any help? So if anybody's got anything, drop it in the chat. I know this is kind of last minute, but my phone started going crazy. Everybody told me that there was so I'm just going to read what we have here as I'm looking for the press conference. Let me go to San Antonio. Last one was on San Antonio. Here we go. Facebook. Reload. Third arrest made. Let's see what they have to say. It just keeps sending me back to their Facebook page. I don't understand this. It just says third page, and it keeps sending us back to the San Antonio. What does it say? 1:30 presser. So it's in about 15 minutes. All right. Well, I am on their Facebook page. Hopefully it comes on this. I'm unsure who's going to be giving the press conference. Last time we had the press conference, it was directly on from their Facebook page. Sweet says 1:30. Sweet, do you have the link to the presser? Anyways, we're going to go ahead and get on. If the link comes, my text message. So just send it to me, please. We're going to go ahead and get on. And it says San Antonio, third arrest has been made in the murder of teenage mom-to-be and her boyfriend just before Christmas. The San Antonio police are expected to give details on the arrest at a 1:30 press conference. The murders took place before midnight on December 21st, with Savanah Soto and Matthew Guerra killed at a different location before being transported. Her family reported her missing on December 22nd, which was just one day before she was meant to be induced at the hospital. Soto and Guerra were both found dead December 26th in the gray Kia Optima in the parking lot of Colina's at Medical Apartments off Danny Kaye Drive. Police have charged Christopher Ray Preciado, 19, with capital murder, abuse of a corpse, and alter or destroy human corpse. His father, Ramon Preciado, 53, was charged with alter or destroy human corpse and abuse of corpse charge for helping his son move the bodies after the murder. And I do think they mean move the bodies. Not physically just in the car, meeting him and wiping down the vehicle. I really do believe he helped him. One thing I know is dead weight is dead weight. We learned this in Brian Laundrie and Gabby Petito, because one of the questions I had, one of the major concerns that I had in that case when we went out there to Spread Creek, is how extremely far. People don't understand. It was a good distance from their vehicle where Red, White, and Bethune found their vehicle. It was a good distance. I went out there. I crossed the creeks. I stood where she was found. And I can tell you it was a pretty good distance. And one of my thoughts were, was she dumped there because of how extremely far it was. And not only that, it was almost out of Spread Creek and into the national preserve area, you know? And so I always thought, how are you sure she just wasn't dumped there? And we were talking about dead weight and how difficult it would be, even with Brian picking her up and putting her over the shoulder, even 100 pounds, how hard that would be, how difficult that would be to move and manipulate, how just it's dead weight. And nobody realizes what 100 pounds of dead weight feels like until you're dealing with 100 pounds of dead weight. Now, Matthew Guerra was not a Gabby Petito, much bigger, much taller, much heavier. So, there's a part of me that just doesn't believe that he could do that all by himself. We discussed that. Thank you, Pebbles. Let me get over there right now. I don't know how you do it, love, but you always seem to. Okay, let's see what we got. Okay. Third arrest. Is this the person that's most likely going to be covering it? Because I think this is going to take me back to the same page. Yeah, so we'll just wait here and we'll start looking at, in another few minutes to see who all has the press conference up. And then we'll go there. But it does sound like there is a third arrest. Who do you guys think we're going to hear? Do you guys think it's going to be a brother, a mother, or a girlfriend? Or either Raymond's girlfriend or Chris's girlfriend? I'm curious to find out who this arrest is. Has anybody heard anything on the back chat by any stretch of the imagination? Okay. Let me see what this is. Mom or brother? Okay. Okay, this is. Gotcha. I'm wondering who this. Isn't Grizzy Hood? Isn't she in San Antonio? Brother, he won't get in trouble. Sweet Misery says it's the brother. The brother. The mom. We got some mom. The brother is what's been spreading so far. Huh? You know what? I brought that up because everybody was saying the ex-girlfriend, and I'm thinking when I looked at that Houston, that's a little ways away. Gotcha. Okay, let me get on here and see Soto. So we don't really have any good feeds coming in just yet, unfortunately. So I'll be on the lookout for that. Rapper, you got it. I don't know if that's really rapper, if that's the rapper, or if that's just somebody assuming that person's name because it had a different icon on it. But inappropriate language, and we say no to racism. So I'm sorry that you feel the need in your heart to be hateful. But we say no to any kind of racism, no matter who it's toward. So there is that. So please refrain from using that language, in our chat. I'd really appreciate it. So there's been a third arrest in the Soto case. We're waiting to see who it is. We have learned from the chat, it sounds like rumor has it most likely will be a brother. So don't be shocked if it's not the girlfriend and not mom, that it might be a brother. I kind of felt like it could potentially be a brother because of the way law enforcement was answering the question. It seemed like the person may have been under the control of somebody, because it just didn't seem like they really wanted to arrest the person. You know, it just didn't seem like they really wanted to arrest the person. Is it true? Is it not true? Honestly, I really don't know. Give me just a second, guys. I got to share some stuff here because I was just doing discussions. All right. Is everybody doing well today? I know we're getting breaking news. This is the news that we've been waiting for quite some time. So I'm excited that we're hearing it. I'm a little concerned that we're not finding, usually by this point we have some people that have like news crews set up, has, some type of feed already as we're waiting for San Antonio police to get this up, and I'm just not seeing anywhere. Family affair, yeah, grandmammy. It sounds like it, but this is again coming back to, we seen Ramon there throwing gang signs up with his kids being so young and impressionable, so young and impressionable. And I just don't get it. Now, how far is Texas behind Eastern Standard Time? We're only 1 hour behind. So we should be going live like in like 7 minutes, or is it an hour and 7 minutes? I don't know. I don't know how far San Antonio is away from our time zone. Are they 2 hours away from us or 1 hour from the East Coast? Does anybody know? Let me just check. Central. So it's Central Time. So it's 1:23. So they're only an hour off from us, and I don't see any feeds. That's what I thought. Yeah. And I don't see any feeds. So if you guys see any feeds, send them over to me or download them, because right now we've got some commentary, but nothing so far as as an actual feed. I'm going to keep watching. The last time we had it, it was on the PD's own Twitter and Facebook page when they ran the live. The one thing I didn't like about it is that they cut their feed when they were still asking questions. But we do know we had Cats, KSAT and Ken's. Let me get over to their channels because they might have it. KSAT. If they're not, they should be. Yeah, here we go. We're gonna have a feed. We got a feed. We're good. We're good, guys. We're good. We're good. We've got it. So we'll be here for the press conference. It's starting in 4 minutes and 50 seconds. Again, we're going to have a front row seat to the third arrest, finding out who it is. We now have it. So while we're waiting on it, I'm going to read another news article that has come out, and see if we can garner any additional information from this new hey rapper. So was that you? I hope that was not you that was just in my chat. I think somebody was trying to impersonate you. But it wasn't. I mean, you can be a little rough around the edges, but you're not really that disgusting. So thanks for all you do. Oh, thank you, GG56. We love you over here. It's nice to see you. Thank you. So it says San Antonio police have made a third arrest in connection with the slaying of Savanah Soto and Matthew Guerra. I wish they would conclude in these articles that there was a third human being that lost their life. I'm sorry. It just is really disheartening. I know we just need catchy little phrases and you can't put everything in it, but in the same sense, when you're in the article, the body of the article, there was still a third baby. There was a baby Fabian. It should be the slaying of Savanah Soto, Matthew Guerra, and baby Fabian. Baby Fabian got the worst of this, guys. Got the absolute worst of this. The news conference will be scheduled at 1:30 to release the details. Soto, 18, and her boyfriend, Matthew Guerra, was 22, were found shot to death and decomposing inside a vehicle in a Northwest Side apartment complex December 26. 2 men were arrested last week in connection with Savanah, Guerra, and baby Fabian's death. I'm going to keep putting that in there because this article is omitting it. Christopher Preciado, 19, was charged with capital murder, and he and his father, Ramon Preciado, 53, was charged with abuse of a corpse and altering, destroying, concealing human remains. According to the arrest affidavit, Chris Preciado told investigators that Savanah and Guerra drove to his residence on December 21st in the 5,000 block of Charlie Chan Drive to sell him marijuana. Christopher told police Guerra pointed a weapon at him during the transaction, and Savanah was shot as he and Guerra wrestled over the gun. He then said that Guerra pointed the weapon at him again and then tried to take the gun from him, and he shot Guerra. Investigators said Preciado's statement is inconsistent with the gunshot wounds suffered by Soto and Guerra alongside the evidence located at the crime scene. But the one thing that he did do is he put that gun in his hand. And he not only put that gun in his hand, he put that gun in his hand as it fired into 2 people that are now deceased that are deemed murdered. So it really doesn't really matter at this point what he says. As soon as he put that gun in his hand, he was toast. He was toast. About another minute and a half. Another minute and a half. I'm going to go ahead and bring this on up here so we can see it while we wait. Have this up a little bit bigger than it is. There we go. I'll go ahead and commentate while we wait for some information. I'm assuming that this is maybe the jail is connected to the courthouse. This looks like the police station. Is this the police station, the courthouse? I don't know what we are looking at. Are they having the press conference here? This must be the police station. We definitely had some officers walking out. And I don't know what else we're looking at, to be honest with you. I have no clue what we are looking at. I've got the volume on, so we will hear whatever they say. All jails should do perp walks. I agree with that. I agree with that. So for those that are just joining us, this is related to a third arrest in the Savanah Soto, Matthew Guerra, and baby Fabian case. Apparently, there is a third arrest. We were correct in our assessment that it appeared that a third person was in that vehicle. And while law enforcement was looking at that angle, it didn't appear that they really wanted to make the arrest. And I was a little hesitant because I'm like, it sounds like they would want to make this person more of a witness. If that person truly was a witness or a young person, because if it was a young person in that vehicle, somebody under the age of 18, they are in control of their father. Their father is in control of them. So, whether there was wrong, but you can't get past the fact that still, after all this, nobody bothered calling law enforcement. Nobody. All right, let's see. What do we got here? All right, we got a different angle too. So I'm just going to bounce between my 2 angles. Let me put them together so I know which ones we need to go to. Okay. Where did my pins go? Did I just delete it? Hold on a second. Yes, I did. I don't know how I managed to do that. I was trying to move it. So we've got a couple different angles.
And it's already set up for the presser.
This one has the hot mic. I'm listening to both of them. So I'll get the one with the best angle on it. Oh, hold on a second. I'm going to turn mute just for a second. Sorry about that. All right. So we have two different feeds coming in right now. One is a little bit better than the other, as you can tell, but at least we got two feeds. I don't know which one I'm hearing. I can hear one with some, we can hear something. I don't know which feed has sound. Maybe they both do, but I'm listening to both of them, even though you're not only listening to one. So whichever one has the best view and the best sound during this is the one we are going to ultimately take and watch. Again, this is a press conference that is planned to go on right now about a third arrest. There has been a third arrest in the Savanah Soto, Matthew Guerra, and baby Fabian case. Daniel saying stepmom. We've had several people say brother. I think somebody said girlfriend. So we're waiting. I'm sure somebody knows who was arrested. I'm sure the name's already out there. We did not look too awfully hard. We're just here to listen to who it was. Hey, Lori, nice to see you, honey bunny. Yeah, we've been live for about 20 minutes. My phone started going crazy. Everybody knows that we've been following this case for a significant amount of time. And naturally, this third arrest is the shocker, right? We're kind of shocked. We found out about 45 minutes ago, at least I did, about 45 minutes ago to an hour, that there was a third arrest in the Soto case, a third arrest in the Soto case. So we're here right now waiting for the press conference. This is breaking news. I personally do not know who the third person is. I don't know if it's a girlfriend to either Ramon or Christopher, if it's a stepmother, if it's a mother, or if it's a sibling, right? We don't know. We are waiting. News 4 says Marta. So it sounds like it is a female. And Marta sounds like an older female name. And if it's a Marta and it's an older female, we can deduct that it's either Ramon's girlfriend, his current wife, or the mother of, hey, Don B, nice to see you. We do have a drum roll. I just don't have it with me. Don't have it with me. I love this part of true crime. Aw. Yeah, when we see the bad guys go to jail, this is the good day. This is why a lot of us do what we do. We really do want to help. We really want to advocate. We really want to bring attention to certain cases, certain causes, whatever the case may be. And this is the better part of the work. This is when you get to see the fruits of everybody's labor coming together and being able, like this third arrest. If it wasn't for all of us looking at it, all the people asking about it, this third arrest may not be possible. Remember, when they arrest Christopher and Ramon, that was it. Job done. Pat on the back. That's it. They don't expect to make any more arrests. Remember that? And we, the people, stood up and said, wait a minute. There's a third person there. You know it. We know it. What's going on with it? Are they getting in trouble? If not, why? Because let's face it, a pregnant mom to be, a teen pregnant mom to be, and her baby lie in a morgue are now going to be laid to rest. Anybody and everybody that knew and had a hand in it, we want justice to be served. I don't care if it's probation. If that's what the jury finds them for, then I'll be it. We'll take it. But when it comes to babies, I don't give a rat's patootie. I don't give a rat's patootie.
As a mother, how can you be involved in this? You said that you give everything for your gun and the family.
Oh, it might be the family gun.
Did you give Christopher your gun to use in this murder?
Why did you do it?
Are you sorry?
You have no.
Did you give Christopher your gun? How can you sleep at night?
On the other side, right? Keep going. Watch out, guys. Watch out.
How have you been able to sleep at night?
Watch out, guys. Watch out, baby.
Shame! Boo! Boo! Shame! Oh, sorry. the law. Nobody called the law and said, hey, my son did a terrible thing. Nobody called the law. Women involved in this stuff. This makes me sick. I'm sorry. It makes me sick. A mom.
Of Savanah Soto and Matthew Guerra. Savanah was pregnant at the time of her murder, according to police. She was reported missing back on the Friday before Christmas, and police found her body and Matthew Guerra's body in a car on December 26th, the day after Christmas. Last week, San Antonio police made 2 arrests in this case, Christopher Preciado and his father. And now we have Mirta Romanos, who we're told is the mother of Christopher and married to the father of Christopher. So we are expecting to get an update from police as to why they think she's a suspect. But we know from the search warrant, some paperwork that we've gotten,
Okay, here we go.
that she...
I don't know what's going on with our sound. Our sound's not good. I don't think. Let me see if I can get a better sound.
Okay.
There we go. All right, guys, we're getting ready for the press conference. We're getting ready for the press conference.
Ready? Great. Okay. Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. We're going to provide you with an update on the Savanah Soto. Again, SAPD wants to extend our condolences to the family of Savanah and Matthew. Today, as you saw, we just made another arrest. This is the 3rd arrest in this case. Just a recap, back on December 23rd, Leon Valley PD reported that Savanah and Matthew Guerra were reported missing to their jurisdiction. On December 26th, SAPD officers received a call for a disturbance. When those officers made that location, they discovered the bodies of Savanah Soto and Matthew Guerra. They were found deceased in their vehicle, the Kia Optima, that had also been reported missing. Since then, our homicide unit has done an outstanding job in following this case. They followed every lead. They were able to get surveillance video, which led them to these arrests that were made. On January 3rd, we made 2 arrests, 19-year-old Christopher Preciado and 53-year-old Ramon Preciado. There was a lot of information on social media that there was a 3rd individual involved. Our homicide detectives were aware of that. However, we were looking for enough probable cause to make that arrest and to present the best case forward to the DA's office. Today, that happened. They were able to develop enough evidence to charge 47-year-old Mirta Romanos, that's Myrta Ramanos. She is believed to be, I'm not sure exactly what the relationship is, but maybe a stepmother to Christopher, 19-year-old Christopher. She is being charged with 3 felonies. The first one being alter, destroy, conceal a human corpse, which is a 2nd-degree felony. She's also being charged with abuse of corpse, which is a state jail felony, and a 3rd charge, tampering with evidence. Through our forensic unit, we were able to develop information from surveillance video that shows Miss Romanos involved the night of the murder. That video surveillance shows her at the home right after the murders, and she was seen on video surveillance leaving in that black truck that we all saw on the surveillance video, and then returning to her home with Christopher and Ramon in that truck. At this time, I'll take any questions that you might have.
It was her weapon, right?
Excuse me?
They matched her weapon to the ballistics.
Right. That
He brought the weapon with him.
Evidence, from what we understand, she stated that was her gun. So we do know that that was her weapon.
He brought the weapon with
I
him.
believe they were killed in that home. And what was the mother and the stepmom's role?
I'm not sure exactly where. We haven't released any of that information. I'm not sure what the circumstances were.
Yes,
But
Robin.
we do know she was involved in helping get rid of the evidence concerning those bodies.
Now it makes you wonder how planned this was.
suspects that were arrested?
No, our homicide detectives were aware early on in the investigation that there wasn't a third person involved. We know that from the video surveillance when there is that towel that's everyone's talked about being thrown.
I don't know. It
At
seems
that time, we
more,
just didn't have enough evidence.
at
to
least
say
on
that that
Chris's
was
part.
Mirtha Romanos. But like I said, since then, they've
Mirtha
developed enough
Romanos.
evidence from surveillance video from the home showing her leaving with the two. She gets into that truck, and then when they return to the home, it's her, Christopher, and Ramon in that truck.
Had she called you guys in the past week to come to the house at all? Because I know there's been some reports of vandalism there.
I'm not aware of any of that.
As of right now, are you under the impression there are any more suspects?
At this time, we're confident that there's no more suspects. At this time, we're confident that these were the three individuals that were involved in this case.
Do you believe this is connected somehow to a larger crime ring or anything like that?
No, we don't have any.
So they don't
information
think
to
this
lead
was
us
a
to
hit
believe that.
of any
You
kind
know that there was, I guess, a transaction earlier in that night. What happened
earlier
and
in the night.
transpired was Matthew Guerra and Savanah were killed. Thank you.
So you guys still don't know where they were killed, like if it was at their home or somewhere else?
We believe it was in that area, right near their home.
How cooperative was she?
How cooperative was she? I know there was a search warrant that was issued a few days ago. There was a search warrant, so they had the authority to go into that home. Today, I don't believe she said much.
What happened to the towel?
I don't have that information.
Right, she kept her right to remain silent.
Any other questions?
Did she confess?
She wasn't cooperative today. Thank
She
you,
kept
guys.
she kept her mouth shut.
We believe she's a stepmom.
Not biological.
Yeah,
Is she still married to Ramones or?
I don't know if that's a common law or they're living together, but I don't believe they're.
So it might be a girlfriend or a stepmother.
I'm not for sure. She did live. Them three did live in the house.
3 people lived in the house. 3 people were involved.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I kind of wish they would ask a few more questions. Let's go back if we can. Let's go back and watch that. All right. It might cut off on us, but let's go ahead and watch it. Let's rewatch everything. Okay, it's coming up. All right, she should be coming around the corner now, right here. There she is. She was uncooperative today. She did not say a whole lot today.
How can you be involved in this? You're that you give anything for your son and the family? You have anything to say to this family? Did you give Christopher your gun to use in this murder?
Why did you do it?
Are you sorry? You have nothing to say to the family. Did you give Christopher your gun? How can you sleep at night?
On the other side, right? Keep going. Watch out, guys. Watch out.
How have you been able to sleep at night?
Watch out, guys. Watch out, man.
Did you give Christopher?
He's trying to hide her. And this is when we start having audio issues. This is when we start having audio issues on their part. We didn't hear anymore. And I switched sides. So there's the lady right there, the third arrest. We're learning today that this person is either a stepmother or a girlfriend. The person that gave the press conference is unclear. The specific relationship, whether it was marriage or common law. However, what we are learning is that the gun used in this crime was hers. Interesting, right on the heels of us talking about the guns and thinking it was Matthew's. But I always said, we're putting a lot of stock that it might be Matthew's gun. We need to be looking at it as if Chris brought the gun with him. And it sounds like that to be the case. It sounds like they're very cautious on where the 2 victims were shot and killed in the manner and how they were shot and killed. Was it inside the car, outside the car? One thing I did pick up on in that press conference, we're going to go to it because that's the one we did have the good audio on, right? We're going to go to the press conference again and listen, because it sounded to me. Now, it just might have been a misspeak on her part, but because I know law enforcement and I know that her public information officer, if she's not the public information officer, that the statement that's provided has gone through a lot of hands and is usually practiced and is usually presented in a very structured way so that no misconceptions or misspeaks happen. But during the questioning, there was a couple key things that I took away. One was it sounded like the deal may have happened earlier in the day. Was this to go back and resolve the issue from maybe an earlier dispute? Is that the reason why he had a gun on him? Did he already pre-plan that if they didn't do what he said, he was done? And again, how much planning went into this? Because now we find out it's stepmom's gun that was used. Did he go and take it without her permission? Or did she purchase it and let him carry it? Or did she purchase it because her husband can't own a gun? And it was really technically his father's gun. I got a lot of questions with the gun. A lot of questions that weren't answered by mainstream media there at the press conference. So let's listen to this press conference again. Let's get a good understanding on exactly what we heard. We have some audio issues because this is the one that had the audio issues, but there it is. Hold on. We can pass the audio issues when she starts talking. Here we go.
For being here. We're going to provide you with an update on the Savanah, Soto, and Matthew Guerra case. First and foremost, once again, SAPD wants to extend our condolences to the family of Savanah and Matthew. Today, as you saw, we just made another arrest. This is the third arrest in this case.
Third arrest. They don't anticipate any other arrest. It sounds like whoever was living inside that home on Charlie Chan was involved some way, shape, or form. It sounds like the kid lost his stuff, whacked a couple people, and got his mommy and daddy involved. Now, granted, this is not his biological mother, we're learning, but it's still mommy and daddy at home with kid in the house, right? Whether it's stepmommy and daddy or half stepmommy and daddy, it doesn't matter. Mommy and daddy are home. Kid flips out, goes and runs to mommy and daddy for help. Mommy and daddy jump into action and don't even think.
To recap, back on December 23rd, Leon Valley PD reported that Savanah and Matthew Guerra were reported missing to their jurisdiction. On December 26th, SAPD officers received a call for a disturbance. When those officers made that location, they discovered the bodies of Savanah, Soto, and Matthew Guerra. They were found deceased in their vehicle, the Kia Optima, that had also been reported missing. Since then, our homicide unit has done an outstanding job in following this case. They followed every lead. They were able to get surveillance video, which led them to these arrests that were made.
And we talked about the surveillance videos here on this show. And just before we go very much further, I want to show you guys that stuff again. Okay? There is literally cameras everywhere. And when I say everywhere, I mean everywhere. The path of travel was well captured. Okay? Their path of travel was absolutely 100% hands down, well captured on CCTV footage. This doesn't even include all the traffic cameras, just a few of them, but those were mostly businesses and home cameras. They've got good footage. Believe that. I truly believe that.
On January 3rd, we made two arrests, 19-year-old Christopher Preciado and 53-year-old Ramon Preciado. There was a lot of information on social media that there was a third individual involved. Our homicide detectives were aware of that.
So they knew just right along with us. They knew before they released the video there was a third person, and they already knew who that third person was. Stepmom was just arrested. She's the third arrest. Marta, I can't remember. It starts with an R.
However, we were looking for enough probable cause
We'll
to
find out
make that arrest and to present the best case forward to the DA's office. Today, that happened. They were able to develop enough evidence to charge 47-year-old Marta Romanos.
Marta Romanos.
That's Myrta Ramanos. She is believed to be, I'm not sure exactly what the relationship is, but maybe a stepmother to Christopher, 19-year-old Christopher. She is being charged with 3 felonies. The first one being alter, destroy, conceal a human corpse, which is a second-degree felony. She's also being charged with abuse of corpse, which is a state jail felony, and a third charge, tampering with evidence.
So this was a family affair. If we don't know what happened here, this is what happened. And, Mel B, they have a third arrest. Stepmom is behind bars, charged with 3 different felonies related to tampering, all the other stuff. Put stepmom. Okay, hold on a second. Raiders fan. Hold on. Let me see if there's a way I can. Hold on a second. We got, let's go through the Facebook page of Mom. Give me just a second. Thank you, guys. Bring that over to me. Get this up. We'll be up in just a second. We're just going to take a small little detour. Hold off on the chats in the mod chat because I'm putting you guys on screen. Here we go. Let's see what Ma's got going on here. So there it is. Romanos right there. So there we go. If there's any question whether there's gang affiliations inside the household. They look like he looked like he gained some weight. She looked like she lost a significant amount of weight. So there they are. This looks like an older, this is all from 2012. So this is almost 10 years ago. Almost 10 years ago. Last post that I can see publicly is from 2015. But there she is. There she is. And again, it's just the whole gang affiliation and allowing and letting the gangs infiltrate your family is just not good. He introduced this, the father introduced this to his children at a very young age, at a very impressionable age, teaching them, go back to the dad and kids pics and read the comments. Okay. All right, let's see what some of the comments are. It looks like there's 3 comments, but I only see one of them, and it says, "You want them, I'll deliver, LOL." So, again, gang affiliations, gang signs, but I didn't see them. The Raiders pics are the figurines and skulls seem pretty dark magic to me. Yeah, but also if I'm not mistaken, isn't some of the colors of the Raiders like a gang affiliation as well? Like that's why they wear Raiders gear, because it's their gang colors. And I can't remember which one it is, but I thought there was something related to that. But yeah, there is some, skulls all around, they're just, it's dark, but a father that's throwing gang signs up, with his young impressionable children. I just don't understand. Like, you want to live that life, but don't subject your children to it. It's just, we wonder why we're here. Why are we here? because our children are learning horrible behaviors from us, from all of us, from everybody you look up to. Look at our movie stars. Talk about a hot mess. Definitely not something or someone that I want my children or any child idolizing. There's so much just unholy nastiness going on in Hollywood that it's hard for me to even think children idolizing those types of people. It's sinful, in my opinion. Absolutely sinful.
Through our forensic unit, we were able to develop information from surveillance video that shows Miss Romanos involved the night of the murder. That video surveillance shows her at the home.
See, listen, I want you guys to pay close attention. They're giving us a lot of key information. We've been wondering where this altercation happened, even though they refuse to give us specificity. I think at this point, we can say that it happened at the house, either out at the road or in their driveway or in the back of the house. It happened somewhere in and around that home. So Charlie Chan is, I think, the, ground zero. I really do. Let's listen to this again. I'm going to back it up just a little bit. And we're going to listen to it again.
That shows Miss Romanos involved the night of the murder. That video surveillance shows her at the home right after the murders, and she was seen on video surveillance leaving in that black truck.
So if we know that they pulled up within 4 minutes, that car was leaving, and with a total of 10 minutes from the time that the car arrived at that home at Charlie Chan to the time it was dumped was less than 10 minutes. This happened very, very quickly. And we keep wondering why. And I think she answers us if we listen hard enough.
We all saw on the surveillance video, and then returning to her home with Christopher and Ramon in that truck. At this time, I'll take any questions that you might have.
It was her weapon, right?
Excuse me?
They matched her weapon to the ballistics.
Right. That temp.
So we know now. It doesn't sound like. We don't know if Matthew Guerra came with a gun or not. Okay, they have not disclosed of any other weapon. The only thing they disclosed is that a murder weapon was found, and that murder weapon belonged to this third person that they just arrested. We don't know if there were multiple weapons found, if they did ultimately find Matthew Guerra's weapons in his house, or if he just happened to walk off and leave them at home. Because remember, his father did indicate, or somebody did indicate, that his father took guns out of his house. Did he take his normal guns that he usually rides? This was late at night. Maybe he forgot them. Maybe he forgot his phone.
With evidence, from what we understand, she stated that was her gun. So we do know that that was her weapon.
And do they believe they were killed in that home? And what was the mother and the stepmom's role?
I'm not sure exactly where. We haven't released any of that information.
So she's saying she's not exactly sure where it happened, but they have not released the information. So what she's basically saying is that they haven't released the information or the details to that aspect of it, and therefore she cannot comment on that aspect of it.
I'm not sure what the circumstances were, but we do know she was involved in helping get rid of the evidence.
Help cover up the crime.
Concerning those bodies.
On the third, you guys were under the impression that there were only 2 suspects, or had said that there were 2 suspects that were arrested?
No, our homicide detectives were aware early on in the investigation that there wasn't a third person involved. We know that from the video surveillance when there is that towel that's everyone's talked about being thrown. At that time, we just didn't have enough evidence to say that that was Miss Mirtha Romanos. But like I said, since then, they've developed enough evidence from surveillance video from the home showing her leaving with the 2. She gets into that truck, and then when they return to the home, it's her, Christopher, and Ramon in that truck.
So this is important. I want you guys to listen. If for any reason this boy killed those people there, They have surveillance of when they could see who's getting in the vehicle, who's getting out of the vehicle. If that murder happened right there, they probably captured the entire thing on video. They probably know exactly what happened. They may even have them moving him on camera. That to me is just creepy as creepy can get. Remember Stephanie Shenfield? I don't know if you remember her. It was a case that didn't really get a lot of attention. She was a missing bartender right from here, right from Manatee County, where I live. And so Olivia, JLR, and myself collaborated in trying to find answers with her. Do you know that the person that was responsible for her death didn't realize his cameras were working because they hadn't been working for him on his screen? And when law enforcement took the cameras, they could literally see him dragging her dead body out of his house. It was creepy. It was creepy. They ended up finding her in a ditch. He the very next day went to his girlfriend's birthday and was kissing all over her and acting like nothing happened. It was disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And so I just wonder how much they've got captured on these cameras. Because if they've got it captured of her pulling up, getting into that truck, leaving with them, they got them coming back to the home, getting out of the truck. What more do they have? Folks, they have a lot. They have a lot more than we're giving them credit for. I am confident in that. Did you just hear her? They have them on camera coming back and getting out of their truck. If this happened in the front yard, they got it on camera. They may have on camera them dragging Matthew to the back of the car. They may know exactly what happened. Whew.
She called you guys in the past week to come to the house at all? Because I know there's been some reports of vandalism there.
I'm not aware of any of that.
As of right now, are you under the impression there are any more suspects?
At this time, we're confident that there's no more suspects. At this time, we're confident that these were the 3 individuals that were involved in this case.
Do you believe this is connected somehow to a larger crime ring or anything like that?
No, we don't have any information.
So the conspiracy theorists out there that think that this is a mob hit, a drug kingpin hit. I hate to deflate your fuse, but it's just not that. It sounds like this truly is this 19-year-old kid getting a hold of a gun, letting his anger override his behind, and now you got 3 people dead. And 3 people arrested because you got idiots that want to help their kids and be in the cell next to them instead of being outside of the cell to help them through this difficult time. Do not help your children in a situation like this. This is the result right here. How good is stepmom or dad to this boy? Somebody tell me. They just lost their business. They just lost their house. They just lost their livelihood. And they just lost probably their freedom for some significant years. They literally have to build up from the ground up. And guess what? Their son is still most likely going to lose his life in the process. All of that waste over what? Giving him an extra 4 days of freedom? And I'm pretty sure that 4 days was not really freedom now, was it? Just a waste all the way around. All the way around.
To lead us to believe that. We do know that there was, I guess, a transaction earlier in that night. What
there it
happened
is.
And transpired was Matt.
Earlier that night. So it sounds like this has more premeditation to it than we want to acknowledge. Because it sounds like the deal that they were so upset about happened earlier that night. Whatever this was to resolve either the short We don't know what was Christopher supposed to pony up more money to him? This will explain why this only took 4 minutes. I guarantee Chris already knew that whoever showed up was not going to leave there alive. It happened too quick. So whatever happened earlier that day, either Chris owed more money on the supply, or the supply was short, or he was saying it was short. Either way, somebody like Matthew, I don't see is going to be arguing over a few. If it was like a pound of wheat, I don't see him arguing over a few ounces. He would have just made it right, whether he believed it or not. But he came to the party with a gun in his hand. No, this was absolutely planned. He absolutely expected to execute those people. And now I want to know how many people knew. Because every time we turn around in San Antonio, police say, oh, we've got everybody. They don't have everybody. How many more people knew about this? Does Chris have a girlfriend he talked to? Is there more in the planning process? Because, again, we don't know. They might have text messages back and forth. They probably have a good understanding truly what happened. And they knew that Marta, and I told you that during that press conference with the police chief, that it's more than likely that he already knows who was in that vehicle. They're either trying to turn that person into a witness, or they don't have enough evidence to arrest. Those were the comments. It sounds like they just didn't have enough evidence to arrest. They were planning on arresting anyways, if they could. I think they're like any other law enforcement. They may look past something, but when you're talking about a pregnant mom to be literally hours away from giving birth to, welcoming her beautiful son into the world, and you execute her with a contact wound behind the ear, it has a way of making people not give a crap about, whether you're a witness or not. They want anybody and everybody just sitting in jail. And you can't blame them, because, I mean, even that lady, a female, being associated with that, not calling law enforcement, not telling anybody, allowing that baby to just disintegrate along with his parents. It's sick. Not one parent in this whole entire house thought to do the right thing because it was the right thing to do. They just kept their mouth shut, the code of the street. And you wonder why you got a son executing people fresh out of high school.
Matthew, Guerra, and Savanah were killed. Thank you.
So you guys still don't know where they were killed, like if it was at home or somewhere else?
We believe it was in that area, right near their home.
Right near their home. So it's possible somebody had brought up there was a vacant lot out there near their home that they could have done this deal in. Some people are asking how in the world nobody heard fire, shots being fired. Those are all good questions. All very, very good questions.
How cooperative was she?
How cooperative was she? I know there was a search warrant that was issued a few days ago. There was a search warrant, so they had the authority to go into that home. Today, I don't believe she said much.
What happened to the towel?
I don't have that information. Any other questions?
Did she confess?
She wasn't cooperative today.
So no cooperation from stepmom. So there you have it, guys. We were not crazy. There was a third person in the car. It was stepmom. What? Hey, Ashley, it's nice to see you, love. It was, I'm just still sitting here shocked. It was an absolute family affair here. I have to believe the way law enforcement is acting is that something, we're learning new information. We learned a pretty good chunk of new information in this press conference. It sounds like the deal that this was all over happened earlier in that day. It sounds like whatever was going on this night was to fix whatever was going on that day, to discuss it or whatever. Obviously, Chris brought a gun to that discussion, and 2 people died. It sounds to me like he had it in his mind when he was going to meet them. He was going to show them who was boss. He was going to make his mark on the world. He's the big king. He's the big cheese. You know, whatever put it in his mind, whatever. It, from what this lady's saying, is the deal happened earlier that night. Earlier that night. This happened later that night. Earlier that night is a different time frame. So it sounds like we've got the deal. The deal didn't happen at the time. This is why this all went so quickly. I couldn't understand how this went so quickly. It's never been a drug deal I've ever dealt with. I plead the fifth. I've never dealt with a drug deal a day in my life, right? Oh, those felonies. I think the statutes of limitations, okay, have run out for me. I think 20 years is a good distance between me and those charges, okay? Thank God, knock on wood. I don't even have any wood to knock on. Let's knock on some wood. Okay, now that we got that out of the way. To law enforcement personnel watching me, I did not inhale and I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Okay, I just didn't. Okay, I lied. But it's not anything that I've ever seen or experienced. You know, we talked about, you know, the processes, because many of us in our younger years have experiences, okay? You know, we don't like talking about them, especially if you're a preacher's wife. You're probably not going to want to tell about those younger years of yours, right? Oh, thank you, Track. Thank you. But I've got to be honest with you. We've all had those experiences in our life where we have to use them. We have to kind of sometimes go back in the filing cabinet and pull some of those experiences out that we forgot about, because we need to be able to try to explain some of this stuff. And I got to tell you, one of the things is, this is hard because I truly believed it was too quick for him to have grabbed those guns, but everybody was talking about Matthew Guerra's guns. We got to talk about it, right? Now we know for a fact, he brought the gun with him. This is a capital murder case. There's a reason why it's a capital murder case. This poor baby was already done in before they even pulled up to that driveway. I am just dumbfounded, and I'm more dumbfounded, like, how in the world can you help your child bury the bodies? I mean, granted, they didn't bury, you know what I mean? But how can you help your child bury them? How can you sleep in a house knowing there's a weapon that was used to execute two people, and you have the executioner living in the room next to you? How in the world do you sleep? I don't know if I could sleep. I really don't. Like, even the stepmother, that's not even her kid. How I would have, if I was stepmom and this situation was going on, I'm packing my shit and I'm leaving. You are not letting me live or sleep in a house with somebody that just killed two people. Absolutely not. I value my life a lot more than that. Nobody's worth me jeopardizing myself. Well, if you just help us move the body, you'll be okay. I don't feel like moving a body today. Thank you. How in the world do you sleep? Did they sleep? You know, maybe they didn't. Maybe the father was, you know, maybe we don't realize the father and stepmom, maybe he was a hellion in that house. Maybe his family was scared of him. I mean, we don't know. I just know that this is no family I've ever seen. Well, I've seen it once. You know, Brian Laundrie's family, right? Roberta and Christopher. Imagine that. Imagine that. Lots of Christophers out there. For all the Christophers in my chat, you might want to consider changing your name. Okay, you got a bad name. You're getting a bad rap. I don't want you being persecuted by name assassination. I don't The three dumbest criminals left the gun in the house, left the truck in the driveway. I know. I was thinking the same thing. Like they literally did no damage control whatsoever at all. Like they had to have known, like everybody here had to have known that they were on, that they were being looked for. I mean, they had to have seen it on the news. I mean, even if they didn't see it on the news, it sounds like, they were being plugged in on the internet. I'm sure they had to have been watching. When have you ever known anybody to execute somebody and not even read the newspaper? It just doesn't happen. It's curiosity, wanting to know what's going on, wanting to know if they've got if the cops are looking for them, right? If the cops are looking for him. I mean, in all fairness, we were looking for a girl driving that car, but he's a pretty little boy with long hair. I mean, Bullhorn Betty, again, I'm jealous. If I can just take his hair and put it on my head, I'd have that Fabio, I have to bleach it, of course, that's just a little too dark for my complexion. Would have to bleach it just a little bit, right? Get it Bullhorn Betty white, right? Oh, yeah, I don't know. You know what though? What was one of the comments that I made early on? I said, I pray to God it was not his gun that killed him and his fiance and that baby. Remember me saying that? I am so, this just, at least it gives us some type of relief that his gun isn't the weapon used. At least that it sounds so simple and petty and insignificant, but for me, and I'm pretty sure for his family and her family, that's got to be something. They probably knew his guns were accounted for. They probably had to have known his guns were accounted for if they were. But again, I have to think, for me personally, knowing that his gun wasn't what took his own son out is a little sucks to even say a little bit of good news. Like there's no good news in this whole entire, there's nothing good. There is, and just like every other case, it's just all a whole bunch of losers, a whole bunch of pain, a whole bunch of unnecessary pain. And you know what else? When this all happened, what did I tell you? Another thing that I stated. When we find out what happened to these three that died in this car, we're going to find out it's over something stupid and petty. That three people lost their life over something stupid and petty. And when we get full circle, we find out this is stupid and freaking petty. And not one person should have lost their life over something so stupid. So stupid. We have here in Florida, I have this sheriff that many of you guys know. His name's Grady Judd, right? Been here, has served. I'm 44 years old. I've lived in this one small community my entire life. Even though I've traveled this country quite a bit, I come back home, and this is my home. And I have been here since the day the doctor patted me on my butt. Okay? Patted me on my butt. I'm 44 years old. I hate admitting that. I hate acknowledging that. I hate knowing that I'm old as dirt or getting old as dirt. And I know people that are older than me want to smack me in my face. Don't worry. I'll do it for you. Right? But I have never remembered another sheriff. Now, I don't know if Grady Judd was the sheriff when I was a baby. I don't know. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I lived in this small town for a really, really long time, so much so that the doctor down the road patted me on my butt. And I can't remember a time that Grady Judd wasn't the sheriff, okay? Now, was he the sheriff my whole 44 years? I don't know. I'm just saying as far back as this girl can remember, I don't remember any other sheriff of Polk County. I love Grady Judd, right? I love Grady Judd. He's a sheriff I've seen my entire life. Of course I like him. Even if I don't know the man, I like him because I feel like I know him because I've seen him my entire life. And he always says, everybody keeps coming and saying that this marijuana is a low-level, non-dangerous drug. Well, if it's a low-level, non-dangerous drug, you explain to me why Matthew Guerra, Savanah Soto, and baby Fabian are being laid to rest. If marijuana is such a low-level, non-violent drug, can somebody explain that to me? Because for Grady Judd to say that out of his mouth, that means he was dealing with a case where somebody lost their life because of this low-level, non-violent drug we call marijuana. I know we have a lot of people that partake, right? A lot of people waiting for this clock to turn over to 4:20. Now, aren't you? We know. We see you. We see you. I got you. I got you. I got you. It may not affect us. Okay? It might not affect you. I get it. You know, this day and age, we have dispensaries, and whether you believe in the dispensaries or not, I'm not going to get into the topic of this discussion on, nor will I, because I know that there are, even though I don't partake, I know that there are remedies and medicinal reasons and purposes for it, because I've got friends. I've got friends that have had ailments from Parkinson's that were relieved by the use of THC. I've had pain, you know, friends that have had pain in their bodies, their necks and their joints, that have used creams that have THC properties and makeup. People that take the gummy, people that smoke whatever they smoke, right? I get it. I get it. We're safe in those typically in those transactions. But we're normal people not living in an environment that these young people are living in that's more dangerous and more hostile and more broke and poor and value money over people more. And that's the difference from what we consider low level and nonviolent compared to what they consider low level and nonviolent. We got 3 people dead, including an unborn baby. That had he been saved minutes after his mom lost his life, he would still be alive, because I guarantee that poor baby could breathe on his own. His lungs were developed. He was over 9 months old. He was ready to come. Big Mac Mike's got a Big Mac problem. Who knew? You know what, Mike? One day, I might break down and buy you a McDonald's gift card. I just might. I might have to get you a McDonald's gift card so you can just go and just binge, binge on your Big Macs and fries. All right, guys. Well, that's what we have for today. I just want to, give a round of applause. Really, they are the winners in this case. There are no winners, but they are. They really did a great job. They really did a great job in record time. And I can't imagine. You got to remember, the people that are investigating this case are parents, grandparents. You can't tell me that these officers don't take this home with them. I guarantee they do. God bless them. God bless them for going out. We don't know what being a police officer does to their family, does to their wives, does to their, husbands, does to their relationships, does to their mental health and well-being. We don't get to see that side of it. We don't get to know what kind of counseling they have if they're binge smokers, binge drinkers, because of the atrocities that they have to see because of the inhumane acts of humanity. But they still come out, they still show up, and they still do their best. And even though they're under extreme pressure and under extreme criticism, they still keep producing. So again, just thank you to all law enforcement, all first responders that are out there kicking ass and taking names and making a difference in this world. All right, guys, go rock it out with your coffee beans out. Take care. God bless. We do have a Brian Koberger thing that I was going to do today. It sounds like we're going to have some more information on Soto. So I think I'm going to hold tomorrow's meeting or tomorrow's show to be a combination of Soto and an update on Brian Koberger. We have some things on Brian Koberger that we just missed. We missed, folks. And I am shocked how we remember Betty breaking stuff over here. Two tours out to Idaho. Thousands and thousands of dollars this channel spent, right? Thousands upon thousands of dollars we spent to go out there and to do this. Breaking stuff over here. And we missed something. I don't know if it was when I was out there because we were on the road or whatever, but we missed something. And it's like, how did we miss this? And what else did we miss? This is from when they found them. Big news breaker on this front. So we'll be back here tomorrow morning, 7:30, guys. You're not going to want to miss tomorrow morning's show. We're going to break down all the new updates that come in over this evening related to Savanah Soto. If you guys get any information related to this case that we have not gone over, touched, or talked about that's going to be released from this point until morning, please send it to me at bullhornbetty@gmail.com, bullhornbetty@gmail.com, because if you haven't seen it, there's somebody in this chat that probably hasn't seen it as well. Until next time, guys, please be safe and kind to one another, especially in the comment box below. Here on the Bullhorn Betty channel, we say no to cyberbullying, we say no to cyber harassment, and we say yes to community activism and getting off your butt and making your community and the people around you better. God bless, guys. Take care, and we'll see you soon. I think we'll go with an exit. Let me find my other exit. I like this exit. Bye, guys.